Disneyland will have a lot of changes in 2023, and that means that this could be the year to take that California vacation you've been dreaming about. Let's consider all the pros and cons of 2023 Disneyland vacation today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Disneyland and Disney California Adventure are two parks out in Anaheim, California that have so many different offerings to choose from. With food and festivals, rides, shows, new opportunities, and as easy as it is for us to sum up this video real quick and say, duh, book your flight now, we know, realistically speaking, that there are some major red flags to also consider about a 2023 Disneyland vacation that could tip the scale in another direction. The let's wait on this for another year or so direction. So let's break it down into two categories: why you should go and why you shouldn't. This is very Shakespearean of us. So let's start with the pros and dream a little bit about what a potential 2023 Disneyland vacation could look like for you. Picture this: you're sitting on a plane or in your car heading toward Anaheim and the California parks. What was the deciding factor or the deciding factors that led you to this decision? Well, maybe it was you want to see all the new additions. Disneyland is getting ready to open up a whole lot of stuff in 2023. The biggest reveal is going to happen in the Disneyland park when Mickey's Toontown finally reopens after a year of being shut down. Mickey's Toontown closed for major renovations starting March 9th, 2022, and will have its official return on March 8th, 2023. With the reopening, expect to see new interactive experiences that will encourage active and tactile play as guests slide and spin and splash and touch and listen in all the different sections of the land. When you enter Toontown, you'll start off in Centennial Park, where an immersive fountain will serve as the icon for the new area. Water tables set at the base will invite and allow guests to play with the water, and at night, Disney says the fountain will be brought to life in a unique spectacle. Not too far away from that fountain, you'll find the Dreaming Tree, which is a direct tribute to Walt Disney's favorite cottonwood tree in Marceline, Missouri, that he sat underneath many times for a brainstorming dreaming session while he was still young. If you're a fan of the way Toontown was before this big remodel, don't stress just yet. Many of the classic areas are still here, like Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, Gadget's Go Coaster, and the Mickey's Toontown houses for the Fab Five. But many of these areas have been freshened up and upgraded for even more interactive fun. On top of that, there are two new places to eat that'll be introduced to the Toontown area too. Cafe Daisy, which will combine all three former quick service locations that used to be here into one, will be an easy to access sidewalk eatery. You'll also be able to grab some basic eats to go over at Good Boy Grocers. Now, are we forgetting anything important? I'm just teasing. Of course, I'm going to talk about the headliner ride coming to the Toontown area, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. If you've already ridden Runaway Railway over in Disney's Hollywood Studios in Orlando, then you know what this one is all about. But just in case you haven't gotten the chance to ride it in Florida, Runaway Railway is a trackless dark ride that uses what Disney's calling 2.5D as opposed to 2D or 3D technology, which brings the ride's two-dimensional cartoons to life in a new way without the need for 3D glasses. Basically, there's a lot of projections going on, but Runaway Railway in Toontown isn't going to look identical to Runaway Railway in Hollywood Studios. It's got to fit into a different vibe. Where Runaway Railway is housed inside a replica of the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Disney World, the Disneyland version is going to be housed inside the El Capitan Theater. Inside the queue, you'll be able to see a special exhibit created by the Toontown Hysterical Society that showcases life in the Toon world, featuring shout-outs to classic Mickey animations like Steamboat Willie, Plain Crazy, and Mickey's Christmas Carol. And ready for the big kicker here? Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway will be opening before the rest of Mickey's Toontown does, and is projected to debut on January 27th, 2023. How is that so soon? So if you want to visit Disneyland anytime after January, you'll have the chance to check out the Runaway Railway Cali Edition. Both Disneyland and DCA will also be welcoming two brand new nighttime spectaculars into their parks in 2023. In DCA, a new World of Color show, simply called World of Color 1, will be bringing a fresh story along with some familiar faces on the shooting waters across Paradise Bay. And in Disneyland, Wondrous Journeys will make its grand debut on Sleeping Beauty Castle in a projection and fireworks display celebrating the history of Disney animation. Both of these shows will also be debuting in January 2023, alongside the big celebration that'll be taking place throughout not just Disneyland, but the Walt Disney Company in general. More about that in just a second. But wait, it's time to talk about my favorite addition to Disneyland, In 2023, the Magic Happens Parade, which originally debuted in Disneyland back in 2020, right before the historic closures, is returning on February 24th, 2023. This parade features favorite Disney characters and their stories, including Moana, Miguel, Tiana, the Frozen sisters, and of course, the one, the only Mickey Mouse. But my favorite part of this parade is definitely Merlin the Magician. He's so much fun, and I hope it's the same person that I saw when I was there in 2020. Anyway, speaking of characters, you can see new characters in Disneyland right now as well. Mando and Grogu made their first appearance in Disneyland Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on November 18th, 2022. You'll find them out and walking about every 30 minutes or so, just, taking care of important Mandalorian business and all. But they do have time for a quick hello and a picture or two. We got to see the Hulk over in Avengers Campus in Disney California Adventure for a brief period in 2022 as well, so maybe he'll make a reappearance sometime in 2023. Just prepare yourself. They don't call him the Hulk for nothing. This guy's going to tower over you in all your picture ops with him. And though we don't have any official opening dates yet for the new restaurants coming to downtown Disney, they're definitely on their way to the shopping district. Disney's working hard to expand this tiny strip of stores and restaurants and plans on adding more innovative experiences like the world-renowned family-owned Din Tai Fung, famous for their soup dumplings that are handcrafted on site, Paseo and Centrico, which will be a bar area with gourmet Mexican-inspired small plates and tequila-based cocktails, and Southern California's favorite sweet shop, Porto's Bakery Cafe, that'll bring signature pastries and savory Cuban food inside the Disneyland bubble. Not to mention the already existing Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen is working on some major changes to add new items to its menu and renovate the inside and outside of the restaurant itself. Now, I don't know if this next edition will actually sell you on a Disneyland trip or not, but if you absolutely can't live without using Magic Band Plus at DL at least once, then you'll be happy to know the new tech has hit Disneyland shelves and is available for you to purchase and use right now. The Magic Band Plus premiered in Disneyland on October 26th. And gives Disneyland guests the power to connect Magic Band Plus to a theme park ticket or Magic Key Pass via the Disneyland app, as well as use it to check in at Lightning Lane entrances and link any photos taken of you by Disney PhotoPass photographers. The bands also sync up with moments during the nighttime spectaculars, pulsing with lights and vibrations, and allow you to interact with different areas around Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus. So, in short, lots of new things aren't just coming to Disneyland soon, but many new things are available right now. And the new stuff just keeps on coming. Maybe you want to take part in Disneyland celebrations. Along with the rides and restaurants, Disneyland's coming into the new year ready to party. The newest celebration that'll be taking place is the 100 Years of Wonder, which is a celebration honoring the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. And where better to have the heart of this celebration take place than the only park founder Walt Disney has ever personally walked through, Disneyland. The celebration will kick off on January 27th and coat the parks in platinum. Lots and lots of platinum. Mickey and Minnie will be sporting platinum costumes. Special 100th anniversary merchandise will be platinum. Even Sleeping Beauty Castle herself will get a platinum makeover with banners and bunting, a cabochon featuring 3 good fairies, 2 water fountains on either side of the castle, and a wishing star placed on the tower. And again, this is also when the 2 new nighttime spectaculars will start up, so lots of reasons to celebrate here. But with this celebration kickoff, we expect to see higher than usual January-February crowds flooding into the Disneyland area. Not to jump ahead to the cons or anything, but if you were wanting to plan a winter Disneyland trip during this historical down season, you might be unpleasantly surprised by what you find. Throughout the year, Disney California Adventure holds different festivals with food booths and unique seasonal offerings, much like you'd find in Epcot. DCA Fests include Lunar New Year, running between January 20th and February 15th, DCA's Food and Wine Festival, running between March 3rd and April 25th, and Festival of Holidays, which normally starts mid-November and runs until the beginning of January. So a trip around any of those time frames will give you an extra dose of Disneyland offerings. If you want to experience DCA's version of a Halloween after-hours party, Oogie Boogie Bash did return in 2022, and we expect to see it pop up again in 2023. Oogie Boogie Bash has exclusive spooky offerings like trick-or-treat trails, Halloween stage shows, the Frightfully Fun Parade, rare character sightings, and one of our favorite parts of any after-hours offering ever, the Villains Grove, which is a walk-through immersive experience through the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail that features lots of eye-catching effects with smoke and lighting and a haunting soundtrack. It is very cool. And even if you don't purchase a separate Oogie Boogie Bash ticket, you'll still get the opportunity to see some really neat Halloween overlays like the Cars Halloween area and the Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark takeover, which is very, very scary. And over in Disneyland, Halloween season also means the Haunted Mansion gets its big Nightmare Before Christmas overlay too, which runs throughout the Christmas season. Now, keep in mind that Oogie Boogie Bash is super popular with out-of-town guests and locals alike, meaning tickets sell out really fast. We'll keep you updated and let you know later on when these tickets will be available for you to purchase, but if this is something major you want to do next year, don't hold off on buying these once those tickets do release. You'll need to bite that bullet ASAP. Along with Halloween After Hours, 3 other After Hours events called Disneyland After Dark events started back up in 2022 and will return in 2023 as well. Sweethearts Night is a Valentine's Day specialty event with exclusive fireworks, dancing, and music, Disney character couple meet and greets, cutesy romantic photo ops, and Valentine's-inspired snacks and drinks. Villains Night happens toward the beginning of March and features DJ dance parties, exclusive stage shows, Disney villains meet and greets, villainous photo ops, and specialty food and drinks as well, minus the actually poisonous apples. And Star Wars Night happens on select nights in May, including May the 4th, of course, and includes a Star Wars-themed fireworks show, dance parties, Star Wars character meet and greets, specialty merchandise, photo ops, and intergalactic-ish snacks and beverages. Again, since these events are super limited, tickets sell fast once they go live, so stay diligent to figure out when these tickets will go on sale, and we promise we'll stay diligent too and get it into our newsletter ASAP. Another reason you might want to go to Disneyland this year is because you want to say goodbye. Oh, sorry. I opened that on a real dramatic note, but it's not far from the truth. Some Disneyland experiences are about to close their doors for good, so you'll only be able to see them for a short while in 2023 before they're gone. And in Disney California Adventure, the entirety of the Pacific Wharf area will be shutting down and reimagined into the Big Hero 6 themed San Francisco, which will feature new restaurants, shops, and a Baymax meet and greet location. We're not sure when Pacific Wharf is planning on closing yet, but we do know Disneyland does want to make strides toward this reimagining soon, so 2023 could be the last time you'll experience the Pacific Wharf in its current industrial form. Next reason you might want to go to Disneyland in 2023, you want options that Disney World doesn't have. Disney World and Disneyland have a lot of similarities. They both have parks with Main Street USA, they both have World of Disney in their shopping districts, they both have Galaxy's Edge, they both have a handful of similar rides like Soarin', Star Tours, Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters / Space Ranger Spin, but they're also incredibly different in many ways. For instance, California Adventure is chock full of areas and offerings that Disney World does not have. Avengers Campus with that interactive ride Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, and the experimental Pim's Test Kitchen. You've got Cars Land with Radiator Springs Racers and several Cars-inspired places to eat and shop. Pixar Pier has the Incredicoaster, Lamplight Lounge, and the terrifying Pixar Pal Around, and don't tell me it's just a Ferris wheel because it's way more intense than that. And so many other unique rides and restaurants and experiences to fill your day. And in Disneyland, you've got a lot of similar areas that parallel with Magic Kingdom, but then again, both parks feel very different from each other. You've got Disneyland-specific rides and attractions like the recently reimagined Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, the upgraded Snow White Scary Adventures Dark Ride, the classic Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, the bone-rattling and bruising Matterhorn bobsleds, and the epic Indiana Jones Adventure. And you've got rides that are technically the same as Disney World's, but are honestly probably better. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has this grand finale in its last tunnel in Lift Hill that'll end your ride with a bang. It's a Small World is not only housed in a beautiful white and gold building in Disneyland, but has Disney characters sprinkled throughout the ride, which adds a very cute search and find aspect. Space Mountain's vehicles hold 2 riders per row instead of just 1, which is nice if you have a kid that's apprehensive and wants a parent to ride alongside them. Plus, the sound is so much better in there. I could keep going, but I think you got the idea. Just because many of these rides are called the same thing in both Disneyland and Disney World doesn't mean they're the same, and you may prefer the offerings at Disneyland even more. Most of the time, I do. And another reason you should go to Disneyland in 2023, you want lower wait times. So in Disney World, we talk about non-peak times when crowds have dwindled down versus peak times when crowds are at an all-time high. But as we learned in 2022, even non-peak times at Disney World lately can still end up being super busy. Although we do expect higher crowd levels toward the end of January for the kickoff of the 100 Years of Wonder celebration and for the grand reopening of Mickey's Toontown in Disneyland, we still also expect there to be lower crowd levels in general throughout the year than Disney World experiences. A big reason for this is simply because Disneyland tends to be more of a locals park, whereas Disney World tends to attract more out-of-town, out-of-state, out-of-country guests. My experience going to Disneyland, even on busier days, is that it's just a little bit more chill than the Disney World parks. And I can often get through a good chunk of the rides without having to wait a super long time. Is that always the case? No, but a lot more often there than you'll find in Disney World. But one thing you do want to watch out for in Disneyland is evenings and weekends. Like I said, it's a locals park, so when people get off work, they head to Disneyland, they have some dinner, they jump on a ride, and then they go home. So there's a lot more people that flood in kind of after 5 p.m. and on the weekends. It's a marked difference. And that doesn't really happen at Disney World, because when people are there, they're on a longer vacation. Although you do have quite a few locals come in, because the parks are so much bigger and there's so much more space in Disney World, it kind of absorbs it a little bit better than Disneyland does. And if you're staying at one of the Disneyland-owned hotels, you'll be able to get into the parks 30 minutes before they open to everyone else, giving you even more time to hit up more rides in a surprisingly empty-feeling park. All right, moving on to why you shouldn't go to Disneyland in 2023. These are the cons of Disneyland. Now, these aren't all negative. Some of these points are still rather exciting, like this first one, for instance. Maybe you want to wait for other releases. Not all the new Disneyland stuff will be happening in 2023. Some additions may not show up in the California parks until 2024 or later. The new Avengers Campus Ride, for instance, that's going to take guests into the MCU multiverse in an epic collaborative battle against King Thanos, a new villain for these branching storylines. And they still haven't released any clear-cut date for when we should be seeing this immersive ride appear in DCA. And that means there's a very good chance we won't be seeing it in 2023. Same thing goes for the new San Francisco area. We know the plans for it linger out on the horizon of Disney Imagineering, but we don't know how far out into the horizon it actually is. And then there are some new and returning park additions that we know for sure aren't coming in 2023, like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is set to open late 2024, and the return of Disneyland Run Disney races, which gives guests the opportunity to run or jog or walk through the parks in 5K, 10K, marathons, and they're coming back to Disneyland. But it won't be a done deal until 2024 rolls around, so if sprinting through the parks and earning a medal along with bragging rights is a big deal for you, then you may want to hold off on that Disneyland trip for now, or instead register to compete in one of Disney World's Run Disney races that'll be going on in 2023. And since we're on that subject, maybe you don't want to go to Disneyland because you're more excited for the new Disney World offerings. Disneyland can't hog all the new stuff for itself. Disney World's got some pretty exciting things going on in 2023 as well, which you might enjoy even more. For example, that Tron Light Cycle Run high-speed coaster's finally opening at Magic Kingdom in spring of 2023. 2 new nighttime spectaculars, fireworks shows, will be coming to Magic Kingdom and Epcot. Epcot's also going to open up the Exploration Trail Journey of Water inspired by Moana in late 2023, which will be around the same time the new festival hubs, Communicore Plaza and Hall, will open to centralize the Epcot festivals from here on out, featuring food booths, musical acts, activities, and more. And for all you Figment fanatics out there, a Figment meet and greet will be starting up soon, so you can meet your favorite imaginative purple dragon friend thing in person. We're also looking forward to trying out new grub at some restaurants, including Woody's Roundup Barbecue at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Summer House on the Lake at Disney Springs, and Gwendolyn Rogers Cake Bake Shop at Disney's Boardwalk Inn, bringing on the afternoon tea parties. Not to mention Disney World has 4 parks of unique experiences that may be a better fit for you if you plan on doing an extended vacation inside the Disney bubble. Just make sure to compare your options before deciding one direction over the next. And if you're leaning toward the Disney World side of things, we got a new video stocked with fresh pro tips to help you conquer that 2023 to check out next. Another reason to put off a Disneyland vacation in 2023, you need some more time to save money. This might not be a point you want to hear, but some of us need to hear it regardless. Unfortunately, we've got a recession looming over the country, and that could mean saving now needs to take precedence over an extravagant vacation. Now, if you've already been saving throughout 2022 and you feel like your vacation funds are in a good spot, then great, let's book the trip. But if going on a Disneyland vacation is a concept you're just starting to mull over and the price tag already feels like it'll stress you out way more than you'll actually have fun on the trip, then take 2023 as time to plan a trip budget and start saving for next year. Whether you go to Disney World or Disneyland, prices are steep, and they've been steadily hiking upwards as inflation and demand creep upwards too. So as you start to plan out your budget for a Disneyland trip, keep these two important money-saving tricks in mind. First, travel during the off-season. Much like Disney World, you'll be able to find park ticket prices, resort prices, and Genie Plus prices lower during less busy times of the year, like when school goes back in session at the end of August and throughout the month of September. Prices also tend to be cheaper on the weekdays versus the weekends, so if you can avoid starting your trip off on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you may potentially shave quite a bit of money off your vacation. You could also stay at a non-Disneyland hotel. Disneyland-owned resorts are well-themed, they have nice Disney-specific perks, and are super convenient since you can walk to the parks from either the Grand Californian, Paradise Pier Hotel, soon-to-be Pixar Place Hotel, and the Disneyland Hotel, but they're also super pricey. Just like Disney World, Disneyland has over 50 different Good Neighbor hotel options, which aren't owned by Disney but partner with them to give guests select park benefits at a much cheaper price point. Many of these hotels also offer free breakfast options, so you don't have to worry about spending money on your breakfast inside the parks. And by the way, they're also super close to Disneyland. Because Walt didn't sort of build a land-based bunker around Disneyland, there are tons of hotels right across the street that are affordable and really nice. So just explore the Good Neighbor resort options directly on the Disneyland website, click on the Places to Stay option, and scroll down to the Good Neighbor Hotels tab. Another reason it may not make sense to go to Disneyland this year, your kids aren't ready. Maybe your toddler gets anxious when you're in a large crowd, or maybe your middle schooler just isn't big on the rides yet. Whatever the case may be, you don't have to rush into a Disneyland trip if certain members of your family aren't ready to go yet. Lots of moms will wait to take their kids to the Disney parks until they're past the stroller stage. Not because moms think pushing a stroller around all day would ruin the trip or anything, but because some kids just want to be held all day by mom, and you do not have the strength for that, let me tell you. Only you know if your family's ready to take on a big Disneyland adventure, so make sure to test the waters. Take your kids to local craft festivals or zoos or to the mall to gauge their energy levels throughout the day. And show them POV ride-throughs of Disneyland rides online so you can get an idea of how they'll respond to certain attractions before you put down a whole bunch of money on an experience that's just going to scare them silly the whole time. I will reiterate again, I know those of you who listen to these videos have heard me say this a million times, but when I took my 2-year-old who was super into rides on Big Thunder Mountain in Disneyland, forgetting about the fact that there's a bunch of dynamite at the end and real fire, he kind of freaked out and he was done with rides for a while. We probably lost a good 2 years of riding rides at Disney parks. Just because of that, I misjudged it. It happens, but just a little warning for you. Every kid is different. Some are going to be raring to go at a young age. Others may take a bit of time, but the patience will pay off when you finally do take them to the parks at a time they can be really excited for the adventure ahead. All right, now it's time for you to take the pros and cons we discussed today and decide for yourself. Is 2023 going to be your Disneyland year, or are you destined to see Sleeping Beauty Castle later on down the road? Whatever you decide, the DFB team and I will stick around to help you plan for all your Disney vacations in the near or distant future. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.